So over the past couple of days, I've gotten a bunch of comments from people who have noticed that I'm bouncing around between a bunch of different characters and have asked me if, like, you know, if I'm going through a character crisis or if I don't know who I'm going to play. And the reality is just that this is how I am. Like, when I'm really loving a game, like I am with Tekken 8, I sort of can't help myself but want to hop around and play a bunch of different characters and have as much fun exploring it as I can. But I was thinking about it, and I actually don't think that like hopping around and exploring a bunch of different characters is necessarily a terrible way to learn the game, and I wanted to explain a little bit about why that is. So I think the skill sets in Tekken could largely be broken down into offensive and defensive skill sets. There's a little bit of nuance here, but offensive skill sets usually pertain to your understanding of your own character, how you combine certain tools together, and the general game plan that you form around that. Whereas your defensive skill sets come in with understanding how all of the other characters in the games work, how other people are piecing together their game plans, and how you are navigating through those challenges that they're presenting. Now, both of these are mountains to climb in and of themselves, right? But if we're thinking about mastering and learning your one character versus understanding all of the 31 other characters, it's clear that like one of these mountains is much larger than the other one. Like, I could go into the training room with a new character, spend like an hour, 2 hours just sort of learning about how they work, piecing certain things together, and I could come out of that with like a decent offensive game plan and some decent combo routes and decent wall stuff. And sure, there's still a lot of mountain to climb after you've done that, right? It's gonna take months to master your character. But there isn't like a quick way to, in 2 hours, be able to defend yourself against all 31 other characters in the same way, right? But the really cool thing is that while this defensive mountain is so much larger than the offensive mountain, it's a mountain that you can climb no matter what character you happen to be playing. And it happens to be that way because of how uniform some of Tekken 8's character design can be. So like, as an example, if I'm Lee, and Lily is doing down 3 on me, then I have two options. I could either low parry her and get a combo, or I could block it and then do a fast while standing option. If I'm playing Leo, then I could either low parry it and get a combo, or I could duck and get a fast while standing option. If I'm playing Brian, we could either low parry it and get a combo, or we could duck it and do a fast while standing option. Are you picking up what I'm putting down here? Now, obviously some characters will have unique tools that can help them out of situations, but usually there's some universal option that's available to all of these characters, right? And so what'll happen is really early on in these lower ranks, you and your opponent are extremely aggressive because you've developed aggressive game plans, but neither one of you has had the experience to really have solid and grounded defense. If you develop a strong enough offensive game plan, you will climb through these ranks and you'll get through them pretty quickly. But what'll happen is you'll hit a point where you sort of plateau and you feel like you can't make any more headway. And what's happening is you're hitting a point where your offensive skill sets can't carry you through anymore. Other people also have strong offensive game plans. Now what you need is just enough experience seeing all of these characters and all of these tools and learning what you can do in response to them to be able to move past this point. And so I think if you're beginning to hit this plateau, there really isn't that much harm in switching to another character if somebody else is piquing your interest, because the skill sets that you need to work on and develop right now are skill sets that you can develop no matter what character you're playing. And this is something that I think is unique to Tekken. Like, defending yourself can be universal in other games, but if we're talking about something like anime fighters or really fast, we'll call them Kusoge games like Marvel vs. Capcom 3 and stuff like that, typically the character designs are so varied and so vast that the options aren't universal in the same way. Tekken characters are designed with a sort of universal mathematical logic that makes it a lot more consistent to switch between characters, because no matter what character you're playing and no matter what their strong points are, they still at the end of the day have to play Tekken, right? Your tools may be changing, but the game of Tekken that you're playing isn't really. If this video has inspired you to pick up a second character, let me know who you're thinking of playing down in the comment section below. And if ranked has had you a little bit frustrated, I recommend checking out the video on screen now. Thanks so much, everyone.